Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 2. And today I'm going to be giving you a new series. What if Naruto was an emotionless ghost? Part 1 guys. If you guys enjoy and want to see part 2, go ahead and comment down below and tell me that you want to see part 2 guys. And also you can go ahead and check out Onmysignalunleashwords down in the description for you guys to enjoy. So guys, if you want to see part 2, just tell me down in the comment and I'll be posting part 2 as soon as possible guys. And I do hope that you guys enjoy. So sit back, relax, grab your snack and enjoy yourself. And also remember, if you're new and this is the first time hearing my voice and you enjoy the videos on both Anime King and Anime King 2, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support. And yeah, without further ado, what is we begin this new series? Start the intro. We begin this new series some years after the Kyuubi attack, the Fire Lord's castle. He waited. That was what he was good at, waiting in the shadows. The courtyard in front of him was buzzing with movements, all sort of sounds and light. Guests in expensive kimono was all around. Servants also move around swiftly, trying to stay out of the guests' way, but at the same time being close enough so they could hand them drinks. The person that was watching all of this, he shook his head at the colors. What kind of person were that for the task that they were given? As he mapped out routes in his head where they could do their job quite better without getting in anyone's way. He worked out their rotation system as it was easy to figure out. As he shook his head once again, his single visible eye picked out everything, even the guards and their route pattern when they switch and when they change. So far he has passed several patrols already, without ever being noticing. His progress has been easy. After all, ninjas were meant to be stealthy. They were meant to be good at every single details and covering their tracks. The window, a large window, overlooked the entire courtyard and was brightly lit. At the base, a squad of samurais were at the door to guard the tower. At the top, half a dozen made sure no one could get past them. Especially with the glory of the light that showed from the glass. No one could not pass without being seen. It was so brightly lit and so obvious that no one decided to check the window that was halfway up, which was darkened to glorify the majesty of the top of the tower. As he persevered, as he watched over everything as he ran, black, gloves hands over his weapon. The crossbow was a normal weapon to use when you didn't want to get close to your target. And with a touch of chakra, it was more dangerous. His one single eye flipped all over the yard, checking out all of the entries where he could put explosive tags, just in case he wanted to get a distraction, get out of here, just in case. As his mind flipped through every valuable, so he could be ready at all times. It was like he had a working engine in his head. He eased his finger into the trigger of the bow. It was soon time. The bell on top of the tower, it rang very loudly. The chatter from the crowd became quiet as the event began. The bell banged one more time as his target walked around the corner, blowing kiss and waving to everyone all around. As he was smiling, the figure gripped tightly onto the crossbow as he closed his visible eye. As his target waved towards the crowd as he came to a stop, waving to all of them. As the figure then released it, the daimyo's son quickly fell to the ground as another bell rang. People looked over quickly to see what happened. The figure quickly placed the crossbow behind him as he started speed through hand sign. The first guard rushed towards the son and he saw the arrow piercing right through the armor that the daimyo's son was wearing. He had the armor under the robe that he was wearing, but this arrow teared right through it and it went straight into his heart. He shot his head towards the tower where the arrow had been fired from, as he could see the handle of where it came from, but he saw nothing there as the bell rang once more. The guards in the tower rushed off to sweep it from top to bottom. The figure that just fired the bow leapt upwards as he heard the footsteps. All of the guards arrive in the middle of the tower. There is no one up here. This can't be. They must be invincible, even as Shinobi can't do that. They must have somehow got past. Lock down the castle immediately. All the guards quickly made their way downstairs, as the door at the bottom slammed shut and was locked. The figure dropped down as he deactivated his jutsu. He walked slowly up to the tower to once again wait, knowing the guards they would search the next day around the courtyard. By then he could be long gone. He pulled the hood off his head, stroking his dark, gloved hand through his blonde hair. Another job done. Another target taken out for his lord and nation. The hooded cloak rippled behind him as he moved up the tower. It was difficult to describe the color of the cloak. Black wasn't right, it was close. It was more of a dark grey than a deep, deep green and a midnight blue. It was like a shadow, a ray of darkness. He reached the top of the tower and shut off the great light. No one would notice the little guards running up and down everywhere. Finding the darkest corner of the room, he pulled the cloak around him. His hands cast genjutsu as he blended into the darkness, just in case anyone tried to look up here again. As he allowed himself a small smile, Uzumaki Naruto did what he was best. He waited. Time skip. A day later, Hiruzen sat in his office as he looked through the window, as the sky was beautiful. The figure that entered his office didn't even bother to knock, because he knew that Sarutobi was wide open, ready for his visit. As the figure stepped forward and stood right beside him, looking through the window as well, as the both of them stayed silent for a good second or so, until Sarutobi spoke. Do you think Sensei chose right, Danzo? You always ask me this, Hiruzen. We both know what I'll say. One of us has to be the poster boy. One of us had to do the unthinkable. I could never do what you do. I could never order death so clinically, so easily. But I'm not like you. But I do need you, Hiruzen said. And I couldn't really do what you do, Hiruzen. I lack the gentle touch. I think I could become Hokage someday though. Hiruzen smiled. The conversation repeated itself every time they talk like this. Still, better get down to business. You know, I received a letter from Daimyo today. Danzo raised an eyebrow, looking quite innocent. What news from our lord, he asked. Apparently his son was murdered during his coming of age party. In his very fortress, even with all the security measures there. It has come at quite a shock. Oh, quite tragic, said Danzo. Indeed, shot in the heart with a crossbow that penetrated the under armor that he was wearing. The shot fired from a tower window where no one could have possibly been. Sounds like poor guard work to me, said Danzo. Apparently so, he has written to me. He wants a squad of ninjas to protect him, just like the 12 Guardian Ninja did, just in case the attacker decides to strike again. How prudent, Danzo said. Indeed, said Sarutobi. He should be careful though, after the problem with the previous group. No doubt that you'd warn him of such issues, Danzo said. Of course, can't have harm come to him, for the sake of our reputation, said Hiruzen. It also happened when the maid staff went to clean his son's chambers. Images of various crimes and documents were there, and his son was the one responsible for all of it. Shocking! The son of a daimyo corrupted to break the law? Said Danzo. Yes, and it's a long list. Corruption, embezzlement, rape, connection to various guilds, working with missing ninjas, hired to assassinate people, association with many harbor people as well. Horrifying, said Danzo. Yes, and kidnapping as well. Seems he wanted to raise a private army, said Hiruzen. A silly ambition. No private army could go undetected by you, Hiruzen. The both of them smiled by the joke between them. Could you imagine what would have happened if he became daimyo after his father passed on? I guess he would try to become Hokage himself, through a puppet of course, to be in his place. Silly boy, Hiruzen said. I almost suspect that his father is a bit pleased that he was removed from the world, shall we say. Is that why there have been no search for the perpetrator? Danzo asked. I'm sure they will be found soon enough. As the both of them stood there in silence once again. As Hiruzen then spoke, Danzo, you have been good. Since the Warring Council said I must retake this position. You know I'm thankful I have you behind me even if I do suspect you to stick a knife in my back one day and have several plans to back it up. It is what friends do, I think. I was never good at friendship, said Danzo. How is route program? Asked Hiruzen. Much as before, numbers are really low, but missions are at a high successful rate. I think I had to take drastic actions only once in the last month. Fortunately, it went without a hitch. My latest operative returned nights ago after a successful mission. It went without a hitch. Any more detail you want to share? Asked Harrison. Oh, nothing too important. Just dealing with a silly death. A man death that made the world a better place. Silence again as Harrison handed some tobacco to his pipe. How is he? Asked Harrison. Naruto? Said Danzo. No, one of your other named operatives. Of course Naruto. He's doing well. I never met anyone with a natural attitude to stealth in my life before like that. It serves him well as well. Analyze him for me. Give me a breakdown of strengths and weaknesses. He's quick thinking, excellent at long range, and as I said, stealthy. Very quiet, and has fairly good genjutsu skills. It's very interesting actually. I didn't teach him any, but he made one that blended into the darkness. Very interesting. Interesting indeed. Weaknesses? Straight up fighting, he doesn't have all that much up close. And he's not hugely strong. In taijutsu, he's maybe high genin level. He doesn't like ninjutsu, but he has the basic 3. But give him a kunai, and give him a place to hide. And unless the person that he's going to kill has an amazing sensory ability, they're going to die no matter what. He's not a shinobi like the ones we know them, said Harrison. He's a specialist. If anything, he's a cold-blooded assassination killer. But you knew all of this, Harrison. Not a meeting has passed since you entrusted him to me that you did not ask about him. I understand why, of course. How do you think he would do in a genuine team? Asked Harrison. Danzo stroked his chin. Not sure. He's not what you call social. Explain, Harrison said. Root is not really a good place for a child to grow up. You knew that, as well as I do. The night you gave him to me, when you confirmed that it was not shut down, that you know about it. I figured that he would be safe with you. Rather on his own when the orphanage stopped wanting him. Although I haven't done any emotional condition on him like the others, I suspected that being around the academy would be difficult for him. As Harrison motioned for Danzo to continue. More or less operation I sent him on, he has been on his own. He relied purely on stealth and anyone else would have compromised that. When he returned back to the base, he spent his time training or alone. He doesn't talk to many people, even the recruits his own age. When he does talk, it's the point. He's very good at waiting. Sir Toby took a folder off his desk and handed it to Danzo. The profiles of the graduates of this academy students here. Arrange them into the teams you think would work best. Danzo drew a small table as he placed the documents on it and started to scan all of them. Harrison watched his oldest friend mind apply itself to the problem. It was something that Danzo was always better at than he was. When Harrison saw a problem, his brain saw one route, the difficult one, and he tried to bypass it. But Danzo always saw multiple routes around the problem. Even if that route that Danzo took meant a bit more death than the right route that they could have taken, it was always a route that would get them there though. Danzo placed the profile sheets in groups of 3 as he stood up as Harrison looked over them. Interesting. Most similar to the way the instructors and I felt then. Now then, said Harrison, as he passed Danzo a sheet that had the word Naruto written on it. What if Naruto was added to the class? As Danzo split the papers up once again, as he went over it and over and over. It's more difficult. I assume you don't mind if I shove 4 of the no-hopers into a team. If you think it best, said Harrison. Right. Then these are the teams, said Danzo. Interesting. Here to offer any sort of explanation, asked Harrison. Depends on what risk level you want, really. Put him on a team with the Yamanaka girl. Would risk her going into his mind and learning things that none of us want her to learn. After all, forcing Inoichi to mind suppress his own daughter wouldn't be good for anyone. As for the Hyuga girl, I don't think she would react well to 1 or 2 truths around him. Plus, she's too shy. How, said Harrison. Please, I see what you're doing, Harrison. You're trying to drag him out of their shell with your scheme. You read me like a book, Harrison said. Look, as it stands, there's no proper place for Naruto to go that doesn't disrupt some team dynamic somewhere. He wouldn't fit properly with most of these kids. The Hyuga is too shy. The Inuzaka is too brash. The Yamanaka is too risky. The Nara would work him out eventually. The Akamichi child doesn't fit his strategy. The Aberame kid might work, but they'll leave the other teams out of balance. At some stage, there will be an issue with all of these teams. To be honest, one of them is going to get screwed over, and it's going to be the one where he's in. He's not a team worker. The 2 of them stood in silence for a while. But there's another way we can do this. And what is that? Asked Hirzon. Make him a one-man cell. That is what he has been for the most of his life now. I don't think teamwork is going to be something he's going to adapt to so quickly. I'll continue to train him and give him more specialized missions, such as, said Hirzon, tailing teams on higher rank missions. If he needs to intervene, he will. If he gets discovered by a team, he will just fall back, and they will just assume that he's an envoy from Konoha because he will use the coded phrase that the one's envoy used to identify himself. As Hirzon stroked his chin, he will have to be part of the regular forces. He won't be root anymore though, although I suspect I have to change things for him if he's in a single man cell. I will miss him. I might not look like it, but I care for the boy. He's the closest thing to a son I have. Grant me one favor though, which is, grant him a choice whether he wants to continue in secret or become a public ninja. Alright, where can I find him? Hirzon said. Right now, he'll be probably running through the rooftops. Time skip. Hirzon was standing as he started to spread out his chakra. It's been a while since he used this sense of his, as he could feel the people in the tower and around the building and the civilians walking in the streets. He felt for something moving. He felt for something weak. And he found it. Then it was gone. He found it once again and then it was gone once again. There, Hirzon said, as he moved off as quickly as he could. He didn't follow directly. If Naruto was that good, he would know that he was being trailed. The Hokage was not the Hokage for any reason, and he soon had it worked out, the trail that he was going. As he made his way and landed right on the rooftop, after a second or two, other figure landed on the other side. As he just blended with the shadows on the other side of the building, his hood was completely up and his face was hidden inside the darkness of the hood, as his cloak was rippling behind him in the breeze. How did you know, Hokage-sama? Know what, Uzumaki-kun? Where I was going, then get there before me noticing you. Hirzon smiled. I'm the Hokage. Give me some credit, will you? First off, I can sense chakra. I must say you're really good at concealing your chakra, given what you contain. The figure seemed to shrug. It was difficult to tell, seeing that he was in the dark mostly. Necessary skills, he said. Indeed, from what I could sense, you were doing a rough loop around the edges of Konoha. You're avoiding some areas though, mainly the Hyuga, the Inuzakas, and the Aburame district. So I worked out this was a pinch point, where you'll pass through. Then I saw the rooftop you could have chosen, so I come for the one with the second most cover, where you can hide in the darkness. You're good. Who taught you? I'm nearly 70 years old, you know that, right? And you pick up these things as you go. And the most covered building is always guarded, so you take the second best. No one properly guards it. Indeed. Can I go? Not yet. I am the Hokage, and while I know Danzo keep little secrets like you from everyone else, I know a lot about you. For example, you are 12 years old. You have so far performed 11 missions that would rank B rank in the standard system, each of them being an assassination mission. Although none of them involve contact with shinobi above tuning level, and the target each time is no tuning in training. The figure shrugged once more. I guess I'm good at what I do, he said. Specialize in long range, ambush and stealth. What kind of idiot charging blind the figure asked? There was silence as Hirzon thought about the question. A dead one, the boy said. So, can I go now? I have an offer for you. Not a mission? I'll be blunt with you. You are very good at what you do, but you lack certain things. Several things that you'd want in the future that you can only have when you're young. Such as friends, free time, the feeling of the sun and wind on your face. I know of these things, said Naruto, but do I truly need them? As it stands, you will spend your entire life in the darkness. I want you to spend some of it in the light. As Naruto stepped slightly forward out of the darkness, the bottom of his face was only barely visible under the dark hood. The mouth was expressionless, but the whisker marks are there. Oh, the whisker marks, he'd forgotten about those. Just like when I took him from the orphanage and left him in Danzo's care. I should have done more in his life. So you're offering me the chance to gain things I not yet have? Yes, said Hirzon. I have never found feelings to be useful on the mission before. They mess up my breathing pattern and distract me. Will they make me better? Hirzon shrugged. It is your choice. But I'd rather you took it, Naruto-gun. You can always return to your old ways if you don't like it. What do you say? There was a very long pause as Naruto stepped forward into the light. As he pushed the hood back behind his head. Blonde hair cut short and it was spiky. The face was almost entirely emotionless. As Hiruzen saw the eye, the single eye that he could see, the other one was covered by a patch. Something similar to what Kakashi wear. As Hiruzen wondered what was on it. I accept. Do I go to the academy for their graduation tomorrow? Not exactly. You won't be in a traditional team as such. With your skill set, putting you into normal genin won't work. As such, you'll be shadowing genin teams as they go on missions. Intervene as you see fit. Eventually, they will be informed about your presence, and you can interact as much as you want to. Report to the mission room at midday in 2 days. Try not to be spotted. Hearing that, Naruto smiled. I will be there, if you can spot me. As he stepped back into the darkness. May I go now? Yes. It's nice to see you again, Naruto-kun. At least, one of your shadow clones. How did you know? I have pulled the shadow clone trick so many times. I can recognize it very fast, young Naruto. So go on and dispel to relay your conversation with the actual you. The figure then vanished, as he went off somewhere to dispel. Hiruzen then turned as he wondered about the encounter. Was he really doing the right thing? What did Minato think of his actions? As he made his way towards the edge of the roof, and sat down as he looked towards the moon. Well, Minato-kun, I hope I have done the right thing. I really do. Hopefully he will become great like you. Time skip. As Hiruzen sat in the mission room. As the Chunins all came and left. As the clock started to tick on. It reached midday and kept on going. As Hiruzen waited a few seconds before reaching out his senses in the room. Come out, Naruto-kun, he said. As Naruto dropped from the ceiling and landed right in front of him. Hokage-sama, how long have you been there? Since the briefing that we had 2 nights ago. I can wait. Hiruzen was a bit surprised at the patience of Naruto. Onwu specialists have been known to hold a position for hours. Jiraiya had come back boasting to him when they met up, but Jiraiya was an expert, a spy master. No one looked, asked Hiruzen. It's amazing how much people don't look in the ceiling, Hokage-sama. And what if they had, asked Hiruzen. I had a light genjutsu up, not so much to make them not discover me, but to make them not notice me, or at least, they didn't want to. As he nodded, as he took in Naruto's appearance, he was still wearing the cloak, but now it was a blush brown. Hiruzen realized it was blending with the background as he saw it. A strap crossed his chest, as a crossbow was on his back, and there was another strap as well for another weapon. Interesting. Now your first task is shadow a team as they take part in their Jonin Sensei exam. It's out on Training Ground 7. Come back with a report for what you see. Yes. Naruto walked up the walls and left by a roof window. Hiruzen brought out his pipe as he started to smoke. This way, I should hear if Kakashi has passed his team before he come to report. And I'll know if I can collect my winnings, he said, with a smirk. As he started to relax with the mission's handle, he can relax for an hour or two before the paperwork started to file in. Meanwhile, Naruto moved from rooftop to rooftop. Civilians barely looked up, and other ninjas only used the rooftop if they were in a hurry. That meant they weren't paying attention and Naruto could hide away without being spotted with ease. As he approached the training grounds and took towards Team 7 training ground. As he got to a high branch and pulled the cloak over him, as he took on the appearance of leaves, he then closed his visible eye. As he then whispered, Byakugan, the world became grayscale and bigger. As he focused his gaze, the best way to describe the experience was like focusing a microscope with your mind, and it was hard to mix it with his regular vision. That is why he kept the other eye closed. At the moment, the world is composed of grey and chakra signatures, as he saw 4 of them, the largest one being the Jonin Sensei, and the 3 smaller ones, as they were hiding, really poorly if he must say. He stopped the Byakugan as he moved forward to get a better view. As he got in 50 feet of the Jonin, white hair, headband covering his eye, a book, grey, which means it's orange. Well, Lord Danzo told me they were eccentric. The headband in here means this should be Kakashi Hatake. He's good. As Naruto picked out the genuine team members, have any of them done any stealth lesson? Their positions are wrong, their clothing is wrong. Jeez, she's poking her head out. Idiot. Their sensei know where each one of them is. Oh well, his job was to observe, not to pass it for them. One of the team members jumped over behind his spot and charged at Kakashi. As Naruto saw the laziness of Kakashi, just batted away the boy assault like it was literally nothing. The genin was using what taijutsu he had. It was sloppy and unrefined even near the eyes. Kakashi hadn't even taken his eyes off his book. This fight was quite boring. The genin got dispatched and humiliated as Kakashi made his way gently through the training ground. As Naruto followed, but not keeping too close. The second genin attacked with a barrage of kunai and shuriken from above. As Naruto wondered who wastes so much shots when you only need the one. But Kakashi substituted as all of it went into a log. as a massive fireball was sent towards Kakashi. Naruto realized something as he looked around. All of them were working individually. They were not working together at all. But he knew even if they tried to combine to win, they would not. The Jonin was just too strong. As Naruto made his way into a hollow tree, as he activated his Byakugan once again, the sensei took out the final member, the mixed chakra signatures around her. It was a genjutsu. And the Jonin was walking towards him, still reading his book. Naruto held his nerve only if the Jonin was a very good sensor, and paying attention would he be spotted. He kept his watch out as the man approached him. The man was still reading the book, although his visible eye was glancing left and right as he did. The man glanced up at the tree, as Kakashi looked directly at Naruto for the slightest second. He then checked to see if anyone was around, as he lit up his headband to reveal his Sharingan. Naruto cursed the fact that he was wearing a mask, previously hidden by the book. He could have read the facial expression if it wasn't there, as his eye saw the other eye. The Byakugan showed light and grayscale except for chakra. Chakra is usually a pale blue, although different personalities could have different color, as Kakashi's eye was a darker color than the rest of him, and it spun gently, just like Lord Danzo's eye. As Naruto realized if he could see Kakashi's eye, that meant Kakashi could see through his genjutsu. He's been found. Naruto quickly dropped smoke as he created shadow clones, each of them going a different direction, as he could see behind him with the Byakugan activated. But to his surprise, Kakashi was waving goodbye to him, towards all of the clones. As Naruto came to a stop, Kakashi had seen him, but he didn't try to speak to him, or he didn't say anything, or he didn't even seem rather surprised, yet he was waving goodbye with a smile. As Naruto stopped moving and ducked under the nearest cover, as he looked out, Kakashi was making his way back, reading that same book once again. So he was found by experienced ninja, who instead of letting him know what he was there for, he let him escape, because he knew that man was a Jonin and much faster than what he put on. And Naruto knew that he was quick for his age, but not as fast as him. That meant the man knew that he was there, but how? As it clicked to him, the Hokage must have told him. So this was to evaluate him as well. He was being evaluated by the Jonin with the team as well. As Naruto watched as Kakashi was lecturing his team, one of them tied to a post. Kakashi then turned away and walked off. The team wasn't going anywhere, might as well see what Kakashi was doing. As he made his way, Kakashi was hiding and was watching his team closely. As Naruto stopped a short distance away, he considered putting on a genjutsu, but it hadn't worked the last time. Why would it work now? Could he get a shot off with the bow? Maybe, but this man was elite. As he narrowed his eyes, maybe, from above, as he saw that Kakashi was focused on the Genins. As he made his way, as he gripped onto the Tonto that was behind him, as he crept along the branch, until he was barely above Kakashi, as he unsheathed the blade slowly. He then dropped like a missile, his blade coming down straight towards Kakashi's back. Kakashi reacted at the last possible moment as he rolled away and launched a kunai towards him. Naruto knocked the blade away as it slammed into the earth. You're good. I only knew that you were there just before you dropped, although you're not retreating that last time. How did you spot me? Look, said Kakashi. The shadow in the tree did not really look right. I seen enough genjutsu in my time and decided to take a better look. It was good work. I expected that much. Hokage, Sama sent me here for you to test me, said Naruto. It wasn't a question, it was a statement. Yes, and you're good. Although, a Chunin, if they spotted you, would be enough to stop you at this stage. Your block with the Tonto wasn't really that good, and your cloak would only get in your way in a straight up fight. You're quick though. I don't get spotted. Even if I do, it's usually because I want to get guards to move. Quick too, said Kakashi. Well, we'll both report to Hokage later. So tell me, what do you think of my team? Too brash, no stealth at all. No dress sense either. Kakashi shrugged. Well, I have to pass them. They seem to have finally worked out how to work as a team, to Kakashi, as he watched them. Quite rare, he said. See ya. And with that he vanished. As Naruto moved off back towards the briefing room. Time skip. Hiruzen was in his office as he watched the clock ticked off. All the Jonin sensei have come and reported back to him already. So far, he only had 2 appointments left. One was several hours late and the other one was waiting somewhere to let the other appointments finish. As Kakashi made his way to the door, as Hiruzen looked up. Sorry for being late. I was walking by the Inuzaka compound and their dogs got loose. A dozen of them, and I had to help retrieve them. Of course you did. Given the time, let's skip straight to business, Kakashi. Another failure for team, asked Hiruzen. Hiruzen could swear that he saw Kakashi smirk right on the mask. Well, they passed. Although, only just. Really? Well, skill evaluation, said Hiruzen. The Uchiha is the most advanced of them, although that would be expected. The other 2 are civilian born. They will have to be taught how to do things properly. They could be good though if he can work together properly. And the actual skill evaluation? Not while he's in the room unannounced, said Kakashi. How did you know? Asked Hiruzen. I can see the signs and that. You have a piece of paper in your deck with the words they pass on it. He's very good, isn't he? He is. Calm down, Naruto, said Hiruzen. In the darkest corner of the room, a roof beam was poof and replaced with Naruto. I know you like hiding, but if anyone else had found you, you'd be dead. Envu don't take kindly to assassins. Still, a hench. And an additional shadow. Very neat, even if they look at you directly, they might not even notice. Naruto merely shrugged. So what do you think, Kakashi? He's good, quiet, and elusive. I only found him by accident. I needed a Sharingan to confirm it. That good, huh? Some issues though. He's a bit too formulated. No personal touches. There's a basic flow. But it works though, it's a good strategy. But if someone works him out, he would be in trouble. Good. Any comments, Naruto? Naruto shook his head. Any reporting your mission? The Genins have no stealth skills, and they're too direct. The sensei is a pervert based on my research on the book that he's reading. But despite appearances, he's very quick and clever. I would expect nothing less after hearing his reputation. Not all of us are stealth specialists, Naruto. My Genin team seem to be a roll-off assault group. As Naruto simply shrugged, can I go? You're dismissed. I have given you an apartment in the city. Talk to people if you want to. I will send for someone to call you when I have a mission for you. Naruto nodded as he made his way. Not one to mix words, is he? You know, he makes you look like a loudmouth, Kakashi. True enough. What do you have in mind for him long term? Probably Envu Black Ops. He needs a bit more training and need to learn how to handle people. I'm going to have him trail teams when they start doing higher rank missions. And let him decide where to go. Kakashi shrugged as he made to leave. Kakashi, as he turned back. You have a difficult team there. It's the only team that we force, the best and the worst. Be careful. And don't bias yourself. I'll try, Hokage-sama. Time skip. A couple weeks later, as Naruto moved through the trees, behind the team that he was shadowing. This team was going to be a pain to stay behind. He sniffed himself and made a mental note to watch up later. The smell started to get up his nose unpleasantly, but he will endure it for the mission. The girl of the team was a Hyuga that alone made him wary. When he had received his Byakugan several years ago, he was warned that the clan would murder him if they knew that he had the eye. That meant a main house Hyuga member had the eye ripped out of their socket while they were still alive, because they did not have on the Hyuga seal, so the eyes would not be killed. And the second is, the Hyuga fighting style was good at killing people. The Jayugen strike, able to shut down the person's body, and even deliver a fatal strike to the heart. And the spot that girl could spot him through any genjutsu, and find out where he was hiding was difficult. He had to hope that his eyes had better range than hers, and hope that she did not spot him. Usually, he would just stay in the blind spot of Byakugan, but that too had difficulties. There was the Inuzaka, and dogs. Naruto wasn't really a fan of a dog. They were too big, noisy, and rash. And also their sense of smell. It was annoying. So to avoid being seen, he had to make himself smell like the forest for the dog, which had involved breaking open some pine cones and rubbing the stuff on his skin. The smell was unpleasant, although less unpleasant than dying. The final member was a Abermi. That meant bugs. As he remembered meeting one of his master operatives, a Abermi name that he could not remember at the moment, but it was irrelevant. Bugs would be attracted to the pine smell, so he threw up a small genjutsu enough to make them leave him alone. Of course, the bugs should be confused where there was a blank where there should be a tree, but it will take the Abermi some time to work out that, and by that time you'd be long gone. The sensei didn't seem to be a censor, but he was still suspicious of her. She dressed weirdly. Almost all the shinobi seemed to have distinguished traits. The team was taking a stroll to the border, to the sand, the ally of Konoha, or something like that. He hadn't really paid attention to it. He was just going to follow the team, kill anyone if necessary, then get back to the apartment that he was given. The root barracks, he wasn't allowed to go back there. Know that he was a shinobi of Konoha. As far as he was aware, no one in the block knew that he was there in the apartment. He only really moved when they were asleep, or when it was dark, and he was very, very quiet. It was comfortable and bigger than his old root room, and it had a lot more light, but he modified it the way he liked it, and there was many traps. So if you step into his apartment unwanted, and would not know what you're doing, you would be killed instantly. As the team came to a stop, probably for a break, they were past schedule as he could see that they were early. As he studied the sensei even more, the Byakugan wasn't meant for assessing appearance, but Naruto could read body language and lips. As he looked towards the Hyuga, as she was reserved, shy, No big movements. She used large honorifics. And she also seemed nervous, but excited. As he glanced towards the dog user, he was brash, loud, very loud. And he was quick, and seemed stupid. As he kept on looking at the Hayuka girl and smiling, the sensei saw that and started to tell him off. As for her, she seemed not very comfortable. A bit similar to the Hayuka girl. Not used to this. She had a defensive posture. Lack of weapons around means she was a ninjutsu or genjutsu specialist. Judging by her appearance, genjutsu. Kurenai, UI. Confirmed by the color of her eyes. He looked at Ebermi. He got nothing from him. But he was a rather proper ninja. Quiet, glasses could be more optimized though. No really body movements or language. And his back is turned. He should be really cautious with that one. As Naruto made his way as they start to move once again. As Naruto suspected that this mission was a C rank, the document was a bit important. It was just to give them some field work, as they came across a stream that parted between them and the other nation. It was the border, of course. As Naruto readied his bow and waited, it took 15 minutes for the Sand team to get there. By that time, the Inuyasha got born. The Hayu got nervous, the sensei annoyed. But the Aberami, he was the same. As Naruto did his crossbow aim right towards the Sand team already, their sensei looked bored as the Sand team sensei made their way with the three plain looking ninjas behind him. They look quite normal, their clothing fitting for that in the sand. As Naruto deactivated his Byakugan, as the sensei was carrying a large fan. Interesting. The Sand Jonin waved to the Konoha Jonin as she waved back as he started across the stream. Then there was a bit of an altercation. As Naruto concentrated on the both of them, they were now in a standoff. As he read the lips. Down there. Aren't you supposed to disarm before you cross the borderline, said Kurenai. Look, it's a C rank. No one is watching. No one's gonna kill us if we break this stupid protocol. Can I just have the scroll so I can get these bunch of bedwetters home? You haven't even identified yourself, you and your charges. Carry weapon into Konoha territory. While we are allies, this is affrontment. I know it's a C rank, but you should be setting an example for the Jennings. Look, bitch, I didn't ask for this. Tough, Kurenai said. Back off. Provide ID or I will take measures against you. At that moment, Naruto turned his Byakugan to check the chakra signatures. The Konoha team was fine, as was the Genin team. For the Sand Ninjas, it was the second group of signatures that made Naruto look again. Yes, there was another group of 4, hiding in the ground. In the earth. Earth Jutsu. Another Sand team? Unlikely. The sensei is rude. But only that, as the chakra signature on the ground started to build, it seemed like a team leader. As Naruto saw with his normal eye that the Sand leader reached out and pushed Kurenai, and then it began. The Earth Jutsu whipped across the stream at Kurenai, who moved very quickly to avoid it. Kiba leaped forward, thinking that he was one of the Sand ninjas, but he was knocked back by the Sand Jonin. Then the other ninjas rose from the ground. From Hinata's viewpoint, she could see that Kiba was sent sprawling back, as the Sand Jonin was telling them that none of them knew that jutsu. Then the Byakugan called the others who were leaping out to attack them. But then she noticed it moved so fast. An arrow slammed right to the head of one of them as he collapsed into the water, bleeding out quickly. A second arrow stabbed into the leg of one of them as he dropped to the ground. By this point, the Sand Jonin had engaged the other one, as Kurenai was going through hand sign as the last one came at her. But an arrow pierced right through the man's heart as he collapsed on the Sand territory as he dropped right in the sand, bleeding out. A moment later, the final member was caught in the genjutsu and blindsided by the heavy fan. His torso crumbled up in a way that suggested you wouldn't be getting up by that hit. Hinata looked over, searched for the crossbow user. There was someone moving very fast. They were hooded and their chakra was heavily suppressed, but they were holding a crossbow in one hand and a Konoha headband in one. As they moved away, there was something wrong with their chakra. Heavily wrong as Hinata could see, but it was so familiar. The Sand and Konoha team regrouped as the Sand Jonin put his fan away. That was an unexpected bonus. Now, let's see who these people are. As he dragged the one that was nicked the leg over, as the man was clutching his leg, where he got hit. Oh, the hidden stone. So tell me, what brings you here? Screw you. As Kurenai came in as well. Name, rank, serial number. Screw you. Uber Kage, he said. 10041004. As he started to mumble random words, she slapped him. As she then turned to her counterpart. Hold him still. I think I can make him talk. As she called over her Jennings as well. Let me show you a nice genjutsu where you can deal with smart asses when they don't want to talk. Hinata, pay attention. You have Kiba to deal with. Hey, said Kiba. The demonic illusion. Vision of nightmare. A second later, the man started to scream as he tried to break the hole of the Sanjonin, but he could not. Damn, he doesn't like that, does he? The Sanjonin said. He shouldn't. Right now he's dying a number of interesting ways. Well, do you think he is? He can't even break it. As she deactivated the Genjutsu. Here to talk now. I hear Ibiki in Konoha like stubborn once. Yuzuko, Teo, Chunin. I. S78432. Wasn't that easy? Now tell me, why were you here? B rank. Capture the documents for the Kazekage regarding protocols for the... He started screaming as Kurenai. Regain control. Hold your tongue until you return to Konoha. I think I know what you're about to say. Hinata sealed his chakra, Shino draining to a safe amount. The both of them nodded as she knocked the man out. As she turned to the stand, Jonin. What? No protocol, he said, as he gave her a cheeky smile. I think it's broken enough, she said. You're more fun than I thought. Care to come out to the stand sometime, he asked, as she could easily tell what he was talking about. No thank you, I'm a professional, and I have a job to finish. I bid you farewell. Well, good thing you had the backup hidden away. Thank them for me. Kurenai didn't miss a beat. I will, she said, even though she did not know who that was. As she walked over the unconscious Junin. Kiba, stay quiet. At least until we're 10 minutes away, okay? He shut his mouth. The minutes were tense for a team as they made their way back to Konoha. It was a day travel at best. When they were far enough, we had backup? Shino was the one to reply, as he turned slightly to Kiba. No, we would have been told about such backup. As Hinata swallowed, Kurenai-sensei, she said. Yes, Hinata? Don't be afraid. I looked for the shooter after the engagement ended. I saw a figure, a bit shorter than Kiba, carrying a crossbow with a leaf headband. A crossbow using ninja? Shadowing a genuine team. Is this the person Kakashi mentioned over drinks a while back? She thought to herself, as she came to a stop with her team. All of you, scan the surrounding area as best as you can, and tell me what you can find. Shino, I guess you already done this. He nodded as Kiba and Akamaru started to sniff as Hinata looked everywhere. There's nothing outstanding nearby, although it feels like something's out there. Something's confusing my bugs slightly behind us. It is nearby. She nodded. Kiba, she said. Nothing but our team in the forest. Oh, and I think the stone guy wet himself. Thank you, Kiba. I was trying not to notice that little fact. Hinata, she said. He's about 500 meters that way. His chakra is very odd. He is moving back out of my range. Kiba started to run backwards, but Shino stopped him. Shino, come on. We can find this guy easy. It would be illogical to fight another Leaf Shinobi. We have a captive, and he's our main mission priority. As Kurenai nodded, Shino is right, Kiba. Calm down, or you get yourself killed by rushing in too quickly. Remember the graduation test. My little Genjutsu. Kiba shivered as he remembered the Genjutsu fresh in his mind. Try and move off again, and I'll reapply it, and this time, the dress will be pink. He quickly shut his mouth. Meanwhile, distance away, Naruto spotted as he knew that by the Hyuga girl, and that annoyed him. Well, as he looked at the leaf headband in his hand, at least they knew that he was a Konoha shinobi. As he sped up, moving around to get past the team faster. Unlike them, the main entrance wasn't his main way in, and he did not have a prisoner. Time skip. Night was falling again as Hiruzen finished his final debrief of the day. The team made it later back than he expected, but he put that down to the prisoner that they were escorting. So, in conclusion, we capture a stone shinobi who know the details of our handover. Well done, Kurenai. The mission will be bumped from C to D rank, accordingly. Team 8 is dismissed. The Genins went out, but Kurenai stayed back. Hokage-sama, the unidentified Konoha shinobi at the stream. Who is it? And why are they tailing my team? It is another young shinobi in training. He began doing missions officially when your team was given to you. Primarily just watching, and tracking and looking at other teams, and trying to avoid detection. Who? This is difficult to believe. While taking out two Chunin level ninjas so quickly. This young one must have skills that is very great. And what makes you think that? Well, he tailed my team for the entire mission and only got it spotted because he intervened. Hinata can see at least 500 meters away. Kiba's nose is sharp, and Shino kept his bugs on perimeter around him. They may be Genin, but no Genin should be able to avoid all of that. Hinata spotted him getting away from the combat zone at speed once the engagement was over. That doesn't even add up either. To be honest, I'm amazed that the San Jonin did not question it further. Indeed, it is not standard. Your team is the first team to detect him. It's because he had to gamble on Hinata's eyesight. How could he tell? If he had gotten in 20 meters of me, I should have spotted him. Am I going mad or is he a Hyuga? Only they should be able to see that far. Neither. Come out, Naruto. Kunai sends a sharp burst of chakra as the genjutsu that Naruto was holding broke. A chair in the corner of the room became Naruto as he walked out and stood in front of the decks. Go back and do the same thing again, Kunai said. As he looked back at her. Why? Because I should have spotted your disguise in seconds. And yet I didn't. He just kept looking at her. No emotion in his face. As his hood was up though, the single blue eye could be seen as he looked into her red ones. Naruto, please oblige her requests. She's a master of genjutsu, and she could help you in the future. Yes, Hokage-sama. Look away, please, he said. As they did. A few seconds later, she looked back, looking for the tells for his genjutsu. Okay, the shadow is a bit off, and the chair is... No, the floorboard. No, the chair. Why can't I focus directly, she thought. She walked closer and crossed her fingers. Release. Now she could see the chair. The transformation was good. No mistake that obviously appeared when Jennings used a hinge. She moved forward towards the chair, trying to meet the resistance where a purse was hidden, but she found none. She ran her hand over the chair. It was very chair-like. She tried to pick it up, but it was not chair-heavy. She backed off as he transformed back. Your hands are very gentle. They felt nice, he said. She wasn't quite sure what to make of that. What exactly was she touching a minute ago? How did human chair transformation affect the biology of what went where? Probably best not to ask. A solid transformation hinge is a high-level skill. Interesting genjutsu. It makes it hard to focus on you. I guess you cannot use it while you're moving. He nodded. It's clever. What will you do if someone called you on it without giving any indication that they knew? Escape or die. What? I'm not built for protracted fights. Why don't you learn, she asked. Never needed to. That statement shocked her a bit. From anyone else, it might have been arrogance. But this didn't sound like it. It sounded like he was just speaking a statement. Under the hood with one eye only visible, he was unreadable. Take off your hood. No. I need to know how you knew what my team was doing. No. She couldn't stare him down. Kunai, there are some secrets that need to be kept. That young man holds more secret than I like. I still want to know. There was a small, brief doorway as Hiruzen turned to look. Enter. The door opened as Hinata walked in, with her Byakugan activated. Hinata, why are you here? How much did you hear? All of it, Kunai-sensei. Said Hinata. Why did you come back? I wanted to talk to you. Then I kept on listening. I think I know how he saw our team. Kunai heard a click as she quickly turned to see Naruto as he drew his crossbow, as he pointed right in the center of Hinata's forehead as he was about to fire. As she quickly moved between them, there was a blur, and the crossbow was knocked away from Naruto's hands across the room as the Hokage stood in front of him. Naruto, do not draw your weapon on a fellow Konoha Shinobi. She may know a secret she should not, but killing her is not a way to manage the situation. But if she spreads it, you know the consequences will be worse than her death. You still don't do it, I can handle it. Just for this, I want Hinata to reveal what she thinks she knows. Hinata was still shocked, as she just saw what was going to happen to her. Kunai leaned to her closely and drew her close in. Just whisper to me if you want to. She did so, slowly and trembling, before she passed out, the situation becoming too much. Kunai leaned up against the decks. She then marched towards Naruto, as his gaze narrowed towards her dangerously as she pushed his hood back. As his eye was covered, one of them. Do you have the Byakugan? Show me. As he pulled back the fabric. As one eye, pure white, the other, azure blue. After a brief second, he pulled the fabric back down. Happy? Satisfied. Not happy you draw a weapon on my student, though. Harm her and you die. You not hide from me. As he stood there, just looking at her. Fine, he said, as she drew back and calmed herself. Hokage-sama, what do we do about Hinata? If she learned that her suspicion is correct, she would be duty-bound to see him mounted down by her clan for what happened, for having one of their eyes. It means a main house member had it taken away from them. This will not sit well. Agreed. However skilled the Yamakas are, they cannot force her to forget. You must swear her to silence on the matter and hope her clan does not learn of it. Well, I think the fact that she doesn't want him to die should keep the secret safe. She's not the vengeful type. Here's a nod as he turned back to Naruto. Anything to add? No. You could apologize, said Kunai. She's unconscious. It would be pointless. Then ask Kunai to pass it on for you, said Hiruzen. Hiruzen saw Naruto took longly to act as he stood there for a while. When he said the words, it was like a child using a word that he never used before. Kurenai-san, please pass on my apology to Hinata, he said. I will, Naruto, she said. If you excuse me, Hokage-sama. As she picked up Hinata and took her home, he then turned towards Naruto. Now for you, you intervened in the mission, explain. I was in a better position to eliminate the threat. The two Genin team were not paying around to their surroundings, and I suspect I saved the life of some of them. I was only detected as I fell back. Hiruzen nodded. Saving Genins were important. Well, that team was always going to be difficult to avoid detection. You did well. But draw a weapon on another fellow shinobi, and it will be your arm instead of your bow. Understood? Yes. Can I go? How did you feel about Hinata? Asked Hiruzen. There was a pause. I didn't feel anything. Although I would prefer not to upset her, it was necessary. So, you did feel sorry. If that is what sorry is, said Naruto. Embrace the feeling, Naruto. When Kurenai examined her genjutsu, did you feel anything about it? Her review of my skills was filled with praise. Is that good, said Hiruzen. If it was correct, which I feel it was, said Naruto. So you are pleased with the result? Yes. Happy? Proud? Asked Hiruzen as he looked at Naruto. If that is what they are. I only felt the feeling when I completed the mission. Embrace that as well, Naruto. Emotion is what makes us human. As well as a shinobi. I will try. May I go? You may. As Naruto went through the window, on the high ceiling, Hiruzen was a bit startled, as Naruto was gone with his bow now. As Naruto was going to kill Hinata, so that she wouldn't know his secret. The fact was, eventually, news was going to spread about him, amongst the teams. He couldn't stay not detected for too long. Naruto made his way home after that. He slipped through the window, no light was on as he made his way and sit down on the comfortable mattress. As he folded his arm and closed his eyes, was he happy that his hench and genjutsu were judged by a fellow shinobi? It made him feel the same way when he fired off his bow, and someone got it right in the cranium. As he thought about his new situation, upside, more outdoors, more mission freedom, judgment of his skills by superiors, net worth gain, an apartment and mission fees, discovery of new things, new avenue of learning how to map out emotion, logical things, downsides, people everywhere, peers my age, loud, too loud, a lack of training by Lord Danzo. As he felt he should talk to his former master, maybe he could. He wasn't forbidden after all. He left the apartment. The only thing you heard was his cloak whipping in the wind. As Naruto took the long winding route to throw off any pursuers, even though his Byakugan told him that none were there. As he found the entrance and performed his knock, a hatch opened up as he slipped inside. The guard didn't even need to look at him as he gave his nod as he passed. Each root member had a unique knock that the guard used to identify them, and he knew every knock. As he moved down the dark tunnels, as he found the door and did his knock again, enter, a voice said. It was like he never left. The door opened up as he walked inside, as he kneeled. Lord Danzo. Naruto, I can't say I haven't been expecting a visit from you. I wonder, can you tell me why? You may stand, you're not technically part of Root anymore. Naruto was quiet for a moment. I was meditating onto the events of previous weeks, and the missions I have undertaken under the Hokage. As you taught me to do, for all my previous missions. Anything that require your skills, act Danzo. Just the one, ambushed by a stone team. Kill 3, 1 left, interrogation. Then there were problems. I was spotted by the Hyuga on the team. Ah, young Hinata, shy girl. She must have discovered your eye. Yes, it happened in the sight of the Hokage and her sensei. So she's bound by trust. That is unfortunate. Have you got a cover story prepared? Yes. I hope the issue does not arise again. And to avoid using the eye when I'm trailing a team. That is with Hyuga. A wise choice. Continue with where you were going. I was considering the pros and cons of my current situation, and one of the downfalls is that I wasn't being trained by you. Or anyone for that matter. I should have a teacher, because I still need skills that I should learn. I don't know why I thought it should be you, as I am no longer Root, and you cannot be seen training me. It's illogical, but yet I cannot shake the thought. Danzo looked at Naruto carefully. Have you been feeling emotions? Know that you're not Root, you should cultivate them. I remember having them years ago. I don't have that luxury now. I felt pleased that Kurenai thought that my genjutsu was good. And I felt wrong after trying to silence Hinata, given that she's a fellow shinobi. I believe these were happiness and regret. I don't think they will be good to have on missions. Danzo nodded as he knelt down to Naruto As he placed a hand on his shoulder, it is alright. What you feel is that you miss me and my training. It is natural, even if 2 months ago, I would have scolded you for it. I miss your services, but I cannot train you now. I have taught you about all I know in stealth and all things, and you have surpassed me in that. What you need is a sensei that can teach you the subtle arts of death. Poison specialist, or maybe someone that can teach you a bit more taijutsu. In your new role, it will not be long before you find shinobis that can detect you even if your stealth is perfect. I wish you good luck. As Naruto nodded as he wiped his cloak over his eye, he wondered why he did so. Sadness is emotion I knew more about Naruto. I can give you a bit of advice. Do not dwell in it, but use it to make yourself better. I am sad I'm not Hokage or I cause death, but I use it to push myself towards greater things. Yes, Danzo-sama. Now get going and come back if you feel the person needs. Otherwise, it's best we dwell in the shadows. As Naruto went off and vanished, I hope you know what you're doing, Grayson, because either you will make or break that boy. Thought Danzo. But guys, I'll be in subscribe right here. If you enjoyed this and want to see part 2 of it, guys, go ahead and comment down below and tell me that you want to see part 2, and I'll be posting as soon as possible. But for now, motivate, see you guys soon. Peace.